This is Octavius Miller, CEO, Westcoast Hip Hop Awards. I'm coming up. I Only Touch Greatness podcast. You better tune in. Yee!
The last time that we had you on, you introduced us to somebody, Tobin Costen, and then because
Tobin.
he came onto the episode, and we got to know him, and then we eventually did his own episode. But he could tell us about Tobin, and since we recently lost him,
right? R.P. Tobin.
Yeah, that one hurt. That one hurt because Tobin and Master P got into it. And so that's why the split was. But then when Tobin broke away from P, he winded up hooking up with Wanna Be a Baller guy. Lil Troy. And he still wind up making a hit from them guys. And then Tobin stayed independent from that point on. And, and then, of course, Master P went on to super success. But he was one of the architects when they first started out. He was the one that was bringing a lot of the information and the structural side of it as I've gone on. And I've actually written Tobin's book. I just haven't released it yet. I got to wait for his wife to give me the green light to do that. But he wanted me to write his biography, and I did that for him. And it's sitting in my computer right now that we're talking on. And but he was just a good guy, man. It chokes me up, man. It's like, and he was a healthy guy, so I just didn't understand why he died, but it was just weird. And
I go back and I listen to old Master P songs, and I notice where he'll say TC, that Tobin Costen, that's my manager, or there's a bunch of stuff I've noticed ever since there. Or ever since then, I'd start noticing it in all the Master P songs where he mentions him.
Right. Yeah, they were good. They were business partners and they were friends, and but the book could tell it all. I just, he gave me the information. I just blended it together for him. But it's a dope book.
It's crazy too. Like when we did the interview with you and he appeared, and then doing the interview with him, it was crazy because ever since that, I've been hearing "Want to Be a Baller" like crazy. It's even on 2K. It's on 2K26. You know what I'm saying?
Everywhere.
NBA.
It's everywhere, man.
It's everywhere again, and that's dope because it's just like, damn, somebody who had moved on after No Limit and still did his own thing, you know what I'm saying, is totally tremendous because a lot of people, they come and go, you know what I mean? But he still stayed, you know what I'm saying, and did a huge part. Even today, he still did.
Yeah. Tobin was smart, man. He was a really intelligent guy. I learned a lot from him. He learned a lot from me. And so we bounced off each other. He actually wound up getting King George that used to be with TRU and Master P. So Tobin wound up putting him on his label, and then King George did pretty good. He released a couple good albums, and then he kind of been he's been a salesman all his whole life. So King George is still out there grinding to this day, man. Good dude. But Tobin, man, he was just a real smart guy, college guy. He grew up in Germany, and he was an army brat. You know what I mean? So his educational thing was different, because you in a place where you gotta speak another language too, So he was real good at marketing too, and he made sure my checks cleared. That's why I love Tobe too. Because man, I never had a problem. Master P he never bounced a check with me, man. He's always done good business with me. Now everybody else I can't speak for, but I never say nothing bad about Master P or Tobin. You know what I mean? They both were good brothers, and they made sure that I could be able to take care of my kids. At that time I had kids. So both those guys they were both geniuses, man. They just separated and parted, and they both still had successful careers. Well, P a lot more money, but Tobin did really good, and I think towards the end he had a cider company that he was developing, and he had some flavors out there and some product out there. But good guy, good father, man. You know what I mean? Good family. He had a really good life. Right. So I'm proud.
He must be getting royalties from "Want to Be a Baller."
He's getting royalties from a lot of stuff. He was
playing that song a lot.
He was bound. That plays every day across the country.
Right, everywhere.
And then Troy got sick. I think about a year ago. So I'm glad he's healing back up and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Shout out to Troy, man. He's a real one. Most definitely. Whenever I clipped the thing, he showed love, and I
yeah,
was like, yo, shit. I was like, it's a little Troy, but I'm just like I'm still a fan of just the culture and
right.
especially music that take you back to when you first heard it. Because I remember sitting back down south. You know what I'm saying? I remember my brother buying that album and I take it and steal his albums. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. That was one of them
We
albums
all have.
you had to steal that, man.
You
That was
had to steal
that
that
was a
motherfucker.
classic, man. That was a classic, man.
Certified
And
classic.
it was right on time. You know what I mean? It
Right.
wasn't. I think it was just it had a catchy hook. You know what I'm saying? It was a good song. The raps was good on it,
Yeah.
but it just something about it just caught you. You know what I
The
mean?
video, all
Yeah,
of that.
everything kind of just came together one thing, and it was a beautiful thing to see that crack off like that.
Right.
I loved it, man. I loved it. I loved every minute of it.
Yeah.
I loved the fact that the South had a chance to get in, and they took advantage of all of it. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
And that's why they're still winning today. That's why you got the Futures and the TIs and
Yeah.
Outcast and all the man, it's legends.
Yeah. And what you thought about the Cash Money versus No Limit? Because I know you seen, stuff.
Big court.
So what was your reaction when you seen it? And shout out to
I
Big Court
loved
because he was on there.
I loved it. I loved it, man. I love anything that's clean competition. You know what I mean?
And good for hip hop.
Yeah,
Right.
it's good for it, man. And both those guys. I mean, P and Bird, they kind of the same, bro. They entrepreneurs. You know what I'm saying? They made a hell of a shitload of money,
Right.
and they turn other people into millionaires. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
I don't have anything bad to say about either one of them, man. But
Right.
all I know is P did a whole exercise in that thing, boy. He burned off a lot of calories doing that
Yeah.
doing that versus,
Yeah.
bro. You know?
Right. And it
Jumping
was
around,
crazy
running
too
on the
because people
spot.
people made that shit viral too of him just
Yeah,
doing
man.
his march.
Shit. Hey, bro, if you can do that, you in great shape, bro. At that age, man.
And it was crazy too because he was still showing love to people. Cause I see people like Selski on there too. It was just
Right,
like it was
right.
dope to see people from the Bay being on that stage too. You know what I
Well,
mean? In Kansas City and a whole bunch of people.
Well, like I said, he lived in Richmond for a while. He had a record store in Richmond. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
and like I said, I promoted almost all the early stuff. You know what I mean? And and long as Tobin was there, I was there. You know what I mean? So it was a beautiful thing. P is just a smart dude, bro. And both of them guys were like, almost like, how could I say, Bill Gates and the dude used to own the Blazers, Paul Allen. They were kind of like them guys, high tech, real smart guys. P just had a southern drawl to him. Tobin was more corporate, but they worked, man. It worked, and they made money together. They did business together. Something happened. It'll be in the book, but
Right.
it's I think it was something that they could have got over and they could have, but sometimes things happens, and people break apart and and everybody go their separate ways and that's just it, and
Right.
but I think what they started and what they created, man, turned out really beautiful, for everybody.